If you know Atlanta radio, you know its voice. I'm talking more than 30 years in the game. He's an entrepreneur, podcast host, even has his own bourbon. Steve Rickman, a.k.a. Southside Steve.
Welcome to Champagne with Shyann, where real people share their real stories and unfiltered conversations. My guest, Steve Rickman, and friends. Yes. Southside Steve, cheers to you.
Cheers to you. Thank you. And you know what? I'm drinking champagne. This is the only other time I do it is with you or New Year's.
Okay. All right, let's cheers. I like it.
To you.
So it's funny when I'm thinking about my guests and how I put thought into this, wardrobe is a part of it. Your radio.
Yeah.
You dress for radio.
I did.
Right? And so I'm like, oh, the casual, like, a little bit edgy, the rocker. And then you go country club prep.
Well, here's the problem. You live on the golf course. I live on the golf course. The same golf course. I'm hole 16. I don't know what hole this is. But either way, I'm like, yeah, I guess my wife's like, you should dress nice. I said, do you think I need a blazer? But if you let me dress the way I want, yeah, I could have come in here with a long sleeve and a t-shirt over the top.
It's about being you. So I was trying to.
This is me most of the time.
Okay.
This is me.
Okay, perfect. I'm trying to meet you where you are. So speaking of where you are, Southside Steve.
Yes.
I mean, a legacy, long time, radio personality, all the things. How many years? 30?
30 years on corporate radio, yeah. I started radio getting paid at 20, let's see, I would have been about 25, and I started in 94, 93, right in that range. And then I did college radio on Georgia State, which Album 88, 88.5 is and was the largest college station in the nation. It's 100,000 watts. There's only 3 of them. So they paid attention to us, record label guys did. And that is where I started off my career. And I played the very first collective soul song ever on the radio, on the college radio, met the guys. They'd never been on air. So I introduced them. And to this day, they give me credit at concerts and other things for being the first one to ever play them. So it's kind of cool being in a professional college station, which led me into the rest of my career.
And where did the name come from? How did you get Southside?
It's the worst, man. My dad.
It flows so well. Like Champagne with Shyann, Southside Steve.
But that sounds uppity and cool. And you're beautiful and it's champagne. And on that note, I'm taking another sip. Champagne. Every time you say champagne, we drink.
Okay.
It's like a bad drink.
Let's hear it.
So no, for those watching not from the Atlanta area, I will say that here's the north side, here's the south side, here's Atlanta in the middle. When you go into Atlanta, which everybody did from the north and south to party in Buckhead back in the day.
Yes.
If you told somebody you were from the south side, they were like, because the south side is the poor side of town. So my father worked as the art director for the Atlanta magazine. He's doing well. Grew up in Chamblee. My mother grew up in West End. I was born, we lived in West End, Atlanta until I was about 5. I was born in 65. Yeah, add it up. Now you know how old I am. But we lived downtown, and my father's whole family, everybody was there. And we have a big Catholic, Irish Catholic family. Like we came over on the boat in 1897, and my dad was like, I got to get away. And everybody was moving to Dunwoody or staying put. So he goes to College Park, the south side, right by the airport, off Old National Highway.
Okay.
And we lived there from the time I'm like 5 until 18. And my cousins all lived in Dunwoody. They were little uppity Dunwoody kids. And they'd be like, what's it like down there? South side. I mean, how many people got shot in your school today? Just asking me horrible questions all the time and ragging me about living on that side of town. So my cousin Paul called me Southside Steve. Called me that for like 5 or 6 years. The whole time in high school, every time I show up for Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's like, what's up, Southside? So I get on the air, and it's like my first or second time on the air, and I'm talking with Christopher Rood. And I'm on the Christopher Rood show, Christopher Rood and the Wake Up Crew on 96 Rock. And I'm like, all right, this is great. And he goes, so tell me about yourself a little bit. And he goes, because, we know you're great on air. You're a good businessman. That's why you're the producer. We're talking off air. So I said, well, no, from here and from there. And he goes, oh, so you live on the south side? I go, yeah. And I got a cousin that calls me Southside Steve all the time. Next break on the air, Christopher Rood goes, well, we're sitting here with Southside Steve, our new co-host. And I'm like, don't don't call me that. And he did it. And I begged him for a month. I said, just call me Steve Rickman. I grew up here. People will know me as Steve Rickman. And he stayed on it. And damn it, he said, in 20 years, you'll thank me. And I've already thanked him.
See?
So nicknames help. I'll tell you, a nickname in my field in radio helps. You're more easy to remember.
Mm-hmm. And it's catchy.
And it's catchy and it's true. And I think we all are that. Wherever you grew up, not the first years, but wherever you went to elementary school or high school, you know, when you went through the challenges of life, wherever that was, that's really who you are.
Sure. Speaking of who you are, who is Steve Rickman before Southside Steve?
A goody, a little bit. Started off, I was an Eagle Scout in scouting. I don't think I cussed till I was 14 or 15. And I grew up, I had Catholic guilt. I was a good Catholic boy. I went to Catholic boarding school for a little bit. And I get into high school and I see concert T-shirts. I smell pot for the first time on the school bus. And I'm like, what the hell? Because I entered into the public school system off Old National Highway. And it was some little bit of goody athletes, but a whole lot of partiers. And I got exposed to that, and I still steered clear of it. And then I started working for the airlines, and I got the hottest girl in high school, and I had to go up against the big football jock for her. He was 6'2", already had a scholarship to Tennessee. I'm a soccer jock, but I'm good. And I'm about, 5'11", 138, 140, and I'm running cross country and playing soccer. And he was cheating on her. I let her know, and I let her know how I felt about her.
So it was a hater?
Yeah. I dogged him. We were kind of friends. Bo, you know what you did. All these people still live here. And they all went to Florida for spring break, and I stayed home and closed the deal. Ooh. So when he came back, he was pissed. And then he wants to fight me, and I'm like, how long would I last in a fight in high school? First off, I'm going to get suspended. The whole school's going to see it. He's a big football jock. The coaches are going to get him out of this. My Jamaican soccer coach is not going to be able to get me out of this, and I'm going to get suspended. So I had a little bit of Jack Daniels, a little liquid courage, and I went and knocked on his door. And I said, hey, I heard that you're going to beat me up. Here I am. If you want me, come and get it. In his front yard. And thank God he backed down and didn't. Otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here. He's a big boy, but I was going to fight him, but I just didn't want to do it. So that was like one of the craziest things that defined me. And I realized, hey man, you've got some charisma, you've got some personality. You looked really young in high school. Now at 24, 25, you go to your high school reunion, you're voted most changed, and I look good. Hair's feathered perfect. I put on about 15 pounds, and I'm like, all right. So then I am like, I'm just going to be a serial dater until I meet the right one. And I worked for the airlines, and that's where my catchphrase came up. I got it in the planes at ASA, and I'd be like, ramp 2, gate 2, Fort Walton Beach up, gate 38. Yeah, come on. And that's what I did. And then, that's just Steve Rickman. And I realized I didn't want to know what I was going to make in 10 years, even though airlines to this day is my favorite job. I love traveling. Oh, wow. I love the ramp. Uh-huh. I love being out there. It's common sense. It's fun. I loved it. I did get on top of decon course and jump a 10-gallon bucket of water on Ken Scurry. To this day, I think I'm the only one that ever got up on top of the concourse, but I knew the back way up. And I hosted tug racing. Believe it or not, when you're on a plane, you see those tug guys around 11 o'clock at night. We used to race the tugs. Each airline would show up with their fastest tug, and we would race, and I hosted that. So I realized, all right, you're a guy that obviously people listen to. Mm-hmm. You're the life of the party. You make people laugh. Everybody was always like, you should be a stand-up comedian. Then I go skiing on a ski trip, and Jeff Foxworthy's there, and he's just starting. And because he went to West Georgia, and all my friends went to West Georgia. I'm working at the airlines, and I'm like, first off, it's not going to happen here. And then I met a woman and God, what was it? Probably right around 87, 88 in first class, because I always flew first class. And I was going to see my flight attendant girlfriend who was a Falcon cheerleader. So I was like, I'm an 8 and 9 guy. I didn't date 7s. And I just was that dude. And I'm like, and even people are like, how do you do it? I'm like, I don't know, because it's not like I got money.
said I'm an 8 and 9.
I'm an 8 and 9 guy. I'm not jumping on 6s and 7s, you know. I just can't do it. I had friends that dated 5s. I'm like, more power to you. You know, you're heterosexual, but I wouldn't do that. Huh?
Butterfaces weren't for you.
No, it's got to be the whole package, man. So I was looking at, you know, this wild life that I had, and I'm like, how do you take all that? And I met a guy trying out for a movie, a Chuck Norris movie, and I was going to get a speaking part, and he said, hey, have you ever thought about doing stand-up? I go, well, that's kind of where my head's at. And I'm out with that girl of my dreams. There's no cell phone. They have 2 numbers on me. They call my mom's house and her house. I'm not at either. When I get there, they tell me they've moved up the shoot, and I have to drive, and I get there late, and I get an extra part, but I don't get my speaking role. And I was the guy that found the bomb, and I was supposed to find the bomb and go, excuse me, sir, your package, and then it blows up. So I was going to die, which is fine. I was 19 years old.
You have 5 seconds of fame, right?
And I lost it. I didn't get it. But I am an extra in it. They threw me in anyway. But I was too scared. I'll admit it. I was too scared to do the stand-up. This guy was pushing me, telling me about Wednesday nights at the Punchline. And I just said, I got to get used to this microphone thing. Mm-hmm. So I was at Georgia State. I'd gone back to school. I'd done Clayton Jr. I turned down all my soccer scholarships for the girl of my dreams, who later cheated on me with a manager at Ryan's. That's why I will not eat at Ryan's. I'm not a buffet guy anymore. Returned me. But the dude was 8 years older, had the apartment on the north side of Shiraka. I was driving an 82 and a half Camaro, living at home in Fayetteville with my parents. So I was like, lesson learned. I get it. So I went to Georgia State, and they have the radio there, 88.5. The only reason I went in there was to get used to being on a microphone, to get up the courage to do stand-up.
Wow.
Well, then I'm working in advertising. I'm playing first division amateur soccer, and I'm living with a guy that's independently wealthy, my old friend at school, and he's an international banker, and he's like, man, I don't need money. I need you to stay at my house because I'm only there 2 days a month. Feed my dog, walk my dog, live rent-free. So I had a chance to find myself. I didn't have to pay bills. So that gave me that opportunity. So I'm playing soccer. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm dabbling in advertising. I get a client, a bungee jump client that wants to go on 96 Rock. I go in, I hire 2 voice people. One of the voice people didn't show. I do the voice. And he's like, man, have you ever thought about being in radio? I go, well, I'm on 88.5. He goes, give us your tapes. And I'm like, okay, I'm not really trying to get into radio, dude.
Yeah.
I turn them in. And that's how I got into 96 Rock. And then I did 30 years of morning radio, which technically is improv and stand-up, and that's how it all happened.
Wow. Incredible.
It's a lot, you know, and I don't think I've ever told everybody everything I just told you. It must be the champagne. By the way, we drink before the show starts, too. I just want everybody to know that. She doesn't. We do.
I don't have any.
No,
I know.
She's good. Me and the camera guy do. Are you okay? Just say it. I'm drinking again. Some more cheers.
Cheers. I'll never turn on a cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I just talked about a guy that cheated with my girlfriend that worked at Ryan's Steakhouse. I've never done that.
So we got it. You're only doing, upper end, right? There's a certain criteria to date you.
And radio loved that.
And you say 7s, 8s, above, and you land a 10 because Amanda's amazing.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's the one. How did you arrive at this decision?
To get married?
It was later in life for you.
48.
Yeah.
48 is when I started dating serious. Until then, just dated anybody, everybody. People always want to know when you're dating them. Are we exclusive? I go, no, do whatever you want. I'm going to do me. If I got a problem with who you're dating, then I'll end it. But I have nothing. You can't tell me what to do. I can't tell you what to do. I think that was a damn challenge. Girls loved it. And then I just got people trying to win me over. But any given night, whether I was hosting NFC, which I did for 18 years, or doing the play-by-play I did for 6 years for the Atlanta Silverbacks, I'm constantly in the public eye on that level, not the level behind cameras, but in front of people, because radio gave me that. They realized the personality I had. I was great on location, better than anybody at the station I worked at. So that's where I was making my money. I was doing endorsements. I'm out. And I kept meeting girls. So it was almost impossible. Then when you met somebody you like, because everybody's living vicariously through me, I think there's a part of me that felt like you're not allowed to get married. You got to date the next hot girl. You got to do the next challenge because that's where your fame comes from on 96 Rock or Rock 100.5, the two big rock stations. And being honest, I think I got caught up a little bit in that. But also, I hadn't met anybody that blew my socks off. Until my wife, Amanda. And when I met her as a client, she came in the studio. She's wearing her tight pants. She's like 22 years old. She's in stilettos.
And you're 48?
And I'm 46 at this point. 46. And she comes in the studio for a weight loss client. We did something horrible. We did the Fat Guy 5,000. We had 9 guys that weighed 5,000 pounds total, I think. Each one of these guys was 350, 400 pounds. And it was a challenge to see whether Team Southside Steve, Larry, or Eric on the morning show got the most weight off these guys. She was working for the weight loss company, and that's what her degree is at Auburn University. It's her job to make sure I don't kill somebody or them, with the things we were doing. And she weighed them in and did all the stuff. Well, she comes in, I'm like, wow. And she's standing right next to me, but she's not on the mic. So I'm on my mic and I'm doing my thing. And she's standing right here leaning in on my mic whenever they talk to her. And I look down and I'm a foot guy and she has a high arch and she's wearing a heel and I'm seeing this much air and I'm like, wow. So I put my finger in her shoe and she jumps and she goes, and they go, what is it? He goes, he just put his finger in my shoe. She didn't know who the regular guys were, never listened to rock, damn sure didn't know who Southside Steve was.
Did not know what she was walking into at all.
And then she goes home and she tells her mother, some creepy guy with a ponytail put his finger in my shoe. That's what she told her mom.
And she's not wrong.
That was creepy. That was creepy. I look like a strip club DJ a lot of times to people anyway, but
she's like, you're creepy, but it was a creepy act. Right. I got it. Yeah.
But she's dating the guy that the parents have a house in London and a house here, flipped up collar, Mr. Auburn, Mr. Frat guy, Mr. You get front row for all the Auburn games. They dated the whole time through college. And I just kind of was playful at the time. And I let her know I liked her, thought she was attractive. But over 2 years, we got to know each other. And I owned a bar called Southside Steve's. It was a Smoking the Bandit tribute bar on the South Side. Imagine that. She comes down for the party for the weight loss guys. And that night, she had a few too many. She's riding home with her friends. I'm closing up the bar, and I get a call around 2:30 going, hey, do you want to have a drink? And I'm like, what?
2:30?
At 2:30, and I'm like, texting her, first off, everything's closed, including my bar. And she's like, well, I don't know where you live, but you can meet me. I live in Buckhead in an apartment, high rise. I'm like, what? So I change my direction. I go, and she lets me in. She's behind her little kitchen bar. You know how those little apartments, you got the little bar, and I'm on the other side. We drink wine, and she's running out of everything to drink. She doesn't have bourbon, which I like. She didn't have champagne that you love. It's just wine. We drink like 2.5 bottles, and we're talking. The sun's coming up. I'm like, where's this going? What do we? Next thing I know, she takes off her shoes. Instantly, she drops down to here, comes around the bar, kisses me, and I've never kissed another person since.
Oh, I love that.
And that was that's how it happened. And we dated. I moved her downtown to where I lived in Castleberry, which freaked her parents out, because she's from Johns Creek. And, all the craziness of downtown Atlanta, being 3 blocks south of CNN and Mercedes-Benz at the time, Georgia Dome. And she lived with me, and I just knew. So within 11 months on my birthday, while doing a jewelry store promotion, on my birthday, she thinks that she's filming me at the time, and there's somebody holding a cake, and I'm going to blow out the candles. And I said, well, I have one wish. And I dropped down on my knee. I said, my wish is for you to marry me. And she didn't realize it, but I had a buddy of mine. I will give you a plug, Danny. It's Star Coach USA. He's got all those huge tour buses. And one of those had been parked behind the jewelry store for about 3 hours. People had flown in, driven in. Everybody was on that bus. So while she had her back filming, my entire family and her entire family had filled in behind. She thought it was a joke. Then she looks back and sees everybody.
Oh, wow.
And that's how it started. And here we are now, 12 years later. Just had our anniversary about a week ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. And like I said, I've never kissed anybody since. She shut me down.
So how is dad life later in life? Because you had kids later in age, right? And there's a lot of great things that come
Sure.
with that.
I'm toasting you. I'm drinking. You don't have to. What is our show again, Shyann?
Champagne with Shyann.
And that's what I'm doing.
Is it really champagne in there? I'm just kidding. We'll talk about that next segment.
Yeah. It may or may not be champagne there. I love you, though. But yeah, for me, the child thing, because I'm coaching, my sport is soccer, and my brother's sports are soccer. My brother ran clinics forever. You know, that I can ball. You know, I wasn't professional, but I was semi-pro, and I did first division. But I became a great soccer player later. So when I was at my best, I was 26 years old. You know, and then because you're an athlete, you're too old. There was never an opportunity, and there was no MLS team in Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, if I did get paid, I was making $25,000. So I was like, can't do this forever. So I walked away from that. But that's where my field of dreams is. And my kids and my wife don't really dig soccer. My wife doesn't like it because there's no bathrooms and there's no concessions or stands. It's a fold-out chair. The jig's not up. I may get soccer in there, but both my boys gravitated to sports, baseball and basketball, and I've coached them the entire time. And I've always been the coach. And both boys, one practices to be great, and one of them is great naturally. And it's the youngest. Is incredible. He just picks it up. So I think he'll definitely be my athlete. The other one I think I'm going to put in scouting and keep him going in sports. And so as a father, especially chasing a lot of different things right now, doing what I do for a living, it's like, how do you manage your time to be there for the boys? So I'm there in the morning, I'm there when they get home, and I coach them, and I'm present. And I've been lucky with my career to do that. So for me, it's been great, but it's tough. I didn't know what it was like to be a dad. I saw my brothers do it. Now my brothers are younger. Their kids are out of college. But when I get around these dads, they're all 35, 36, 37 years old because their kids are the same age as mine. I guess that's when you're supposed to have kids, but I didn't. I had a kid at 52 and 55. So I'm like the oldest dude. But for some reason, people think I'm about 10 years younger than I am. There's guys that, dude, I thought you were 45. I'm like, no, man, I'm 60, bro. And my brothers even look at me, they go, how the hell do you do it? I said, I don't stop. I don't stretch or work out to be cool anymore or look good. I do it so I can play with my kids. I'm on a trampoline. I'm throwing baseballs. I'm chasing them around the house. I'm getting on my knees, and that hurts. Didn't used to hurt, but when we take a knee, I'm like, you know, and I just got to be there for them. I got to show, because I don't think they have any concept how old their father is.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know, but I did go.
And they keep you young.
They do. That's the other thing. People say they either keep you young or it kills you. And I'm not going to go down. I've been fortunate. I think anybody's blessed if you have help. It's not about money. It's not about friend groups. It's not about climbing some social ladder. It's about help, man. If you're good, you're good. You're worth $1 million if you're not dealing with something. So many people do, and that's why I've always given to charity. So I'm trying to embrace that with my kids. But I hang out with these dads, and I'll say in closing, every once in a while, people don't call us over anymore. And you're like, huh. And Amanda is like, well, what? You know, I'm like, it's not you. You're fine. The boys are great. It's me. I creep these guys out that are 35, 36 because I have 2 decades older blue humor. And I think it's weird for those guys. And I think I go too far sometimes. But the women giggle and laugh because I've always been good with women. At a party, I don't want to talk sports with the dudes. I want to be in the kitchen with the girls. That's my happy spot. So I think what I need to do is dial it back because I'm going to run into dads this age until they're out of high school.
Okay, so having kids at a later age, it's not necessarily, the parenting aspect of it. It's more so like what we live in a suburban community, right? Very close knit. People know too many people and too many things about each other.
We also live in the 0.1%. People talk about the top 10%, the top 2% based on your salary. I've been lucky to be a guy in that top 2 to 3%, but this is the 0.1%. Wealth is unimaginable here, and it comes in all ages, whether it's earned or family money, and it's a different location. I think it's great for the kids, school wise. But I watch it. I want down to earth kids. I don't want kids judging ever on money or clothing or what you're wearing or what you're not wearing. I want them to judge based on your personality, who you are.
What do you think the hardest part about parenting is?
Man, for me, it is honestly, growing up, I love being the fun guy. It was perfect with my wife. Being a parent, and she's wanting me, I think she thinks of her father. My father was an artist. My mother is an artist, a painter, a drawer, a photographer. That's where I grew up around. And they were big on personality. Our house was the house where everybody came. We were that. My parents were always there. And it wasn't about, my mom literally bought furniture that we could destroy for years. But there were those friends that I had that you walk in their house and they're like, shoes off. I'm like, what? Why am I taking my shoes off? Or you're not allowed in that room, or that room, And our house was like, do what you want. So is the Wild West. And my wife's family's a little bit like that. They're that other side. So very proper, very educated, big time on education. Everybody's got 1-2 degrees and went to great schools. And I love them because they care about me and they love me. But man, I think my wife wants me to do that. And I'm like, your dad's not me. That's not me. This is what you married. But she thinks the hardest thing for me about parenting is acting like a parent. Is there a maturity level you have to achieve, or can you be the fun dad? And that's the fight where I'm like, morals I got, telling them what's right from wrong I got, dealing with bullies or anything they're going to encounter, I got it. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to behavior, am I setting the proper example? That's my worry, because dad is fun, dad is loose, and I probably act like a grandparent where I'm like, I can have the candy with it, just one. Man, it's like, we don't eat candy after 4 p.m. I'm like, ugh. So that's the hardest thing for me is finding that niche to where I'm pleasing my wife, but I'm also being me. It's not about pleasing the kids. I want to be me too.
I think women and men, moms and dads, look at things very differently. So okay. I get what I mean. I like the 4 p.m. rule. Good one, Amanda. But I just feel like
Amanda's right.
It's more so because the women moms want to keep that structure, right? Like going to bed, you did whatever, and then dads, but you don't know the end result when they have that bite of sugar and they can't get to bed, and then you're like paying for it. It's just it throws everything off because I have that. Like my husband travels a lot. When he's gone, ding, 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 ding. Everything's like structured, scheduled. We have it. And then he comes home and throws wrench, which I love it because, right, it's dad. You want them to have it.
They're having fun.
So it's not even an age thing. I think that's just a mom and dad, female, male thing, or how you run your household. I think the other challenge you touched on is some of the dads that you become friends with, right, in our suburban area.
Yeah.
You're friends for a minute and then not so much. And then, you feel like you might have to dial it back here and there. Why do you feel like you have to dial it back? Why can't you just be you and then let whoever?
Because I'm trying to do things for my wife. I think there's times because you're a personality. I'm a personality. Southside Steve is a part of me. When we're out, people recognize me. They hear my voice, or they see me and they want to have that 5-minute conversation. With my wife, we got places to be and things to do. Sometimes she's tolerant. Sometimes it's getting on her last nerve. And I think she's had to walk. And I don't think I'm the highest run. It's not like I'm an A, B, C, or D actor. I'm an E because I've done 4 independent films. But I'm
like D.
D minus? D, E?
Plus.
Is there an E? Don't tell me there's an E, Shyann. No, but I feel like for me, it's that I know where I'm at. I know where I come in show business. You anchored HLN. You've done things that's here. I'm in radio. I was on great morning shows, but I know where I'm at, but I'm happy with it. I'm not upset about it, but she has to deal with a lot. So I think the whole Southside Steve thing, they say, leave your personality, leave your work in the car when you come into the house. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes it's hard to shut that down, or definitely hard to shut it down in public. So what I'm trying to do is dial myself back to where it's not about me. Let my wife be the star here in our community. Let my kids be everything. And I don't need to say everything that pops in this head that might come across weird to somebody 15 years younger, 20 years younger.
Do you feel like you and your personality have prevented your wife from making friends?
No, I don't think it's gotten to the point that it prevented her making friends. I think she's made friends and maybe we don't get invited over again. And I say that jokingly. It may not be true, but you talk highly of my wife and I appreciate it. I just don't see Amanda is follows the book. She's a rule follower. She's not going to step out of bounds. She's not going to run a red light. I am. She's not going to run a stop sign. I'm totally going to California roll that thing if nobody's around. But I married somebody that had things I did. It's that yin and yang.
Yeah.
And I know she makes me a better person. So what I want to do is a guy that, it's almost weird, and maybe you'll think this way when you're older. It's like, I feel like I've lived my life. I've been the center of attention. I've had fun. I asked somebody to share my life with me, and I think that, the 60-40 split needs to go in her favor. And I'm just going to watch it. There's guys that I know, and I read them, and I can be myself. I'm not looking to not be myself, and I really don't want to fake it to make it. So personally, if I offend you, I don't want to hang out with your ass.
Sure. Agreed.
Between you and me.
Agreed. Absolutely.
I don't. But if it upsets her because she enjoyed their company, then I'm like, oh. But it's tough when you're a personality to figure out how to do it. That is my challenge. That is my minefield every single day. And a part of me is like, be true to yourself. Be true to yourself.
Got that. Cheers to that. Be true.
So basically,
your instinct. If they can't handle it.
Yeah. You like me, right?
Yes.
All right, good. I'm welcome here.
Yes, you're welcome here.
But yeah.
Okay. All right, Steve. So this next segment is called Say It or Sip It. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question or make a
what do we say? Am I going to be able to drive home? Can I stay beside? Go.
The more you answer, the less you have to sip. Okay. So it's up to you. You can say it if you rather not.
Oh.
If you're pleading the fifth, you sip it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Biggest myth about radio personalities.
Salaries.
Something people are too sensitive about.
God. Politics.
A belief.
I didn't want to say it. I almost said
That's fine,
politics. I'm probably now in trouble.
No, you're not in trouble. A belief that you've changed your mind on.
Wow. Relationships, marriage, and children.
Hardest part about being outspoken.
Upsetting people.
One truth people avoid hearing.
You're not nice.
All right, you made it. All of them. Cheers. Ring that bell.
Oh, ring the bell. I love the bell.
Before we go, we have to let everyone in on a secret because we're all about, real.
I was bisexual. I meant my no.
The show is, and I love you just the same if you were. The show is Champagne with Shyann. However,
I love women. Where's my husband?
we know you do. We know you do.
No.
You have this amazing bourbon.
Thank you.
Talk about it.
This is Come On Bourbon. Legends Distillery is in Cumming, Georgia. And I got a phone call from a guy that worked for them that also handled my all my socials when I owned my bar. And he did my website and everything. And I worked with his wife in radio. And he's like, man, have you ever thought about having your own bourbon? I'm like, hell yeah. My friend's Jesse James Dupree was at my wedding. He has his whiskeys and everything out there. And so for me, it was something I always wanted to do. So I did it. Thing is, I'm a prude. So I wanted an 80 proof. And the reason is because I grew up no collar, shifted into blue collar, and then became white collar. But I love my no collar, blue collar people. And I know what it's like to bust your butt and only have a little bit of cash. So I said, I want to do 80 proof. That's the cheaper. But I want this 80 proof to taste like a $60 bottle.
And it is amazing. Mike loves it.
Yeah, I know your husband loves it.
Yes.
Chipper, I'm going to throw this out there. Chipper Jones even told me, because I gave him stuff. He's like, I buy in bulks. He had a couple of cases.
It is good. It's a great product.
He said it's the smoothest thing in his basement. And it's just certain people that I know that can afford to have whatever. So it's a huge compliment. I'm not a pappy. I'm not a high-end guy. I like 80, 100 proof. $60 is about as much as I want to spend. But that guy for $33, $34, it's like you bought a $60, $70 bottle. And 67% of impurities are out of it. And I'll give you a little tidbit. I'll break the ice. I walked away from these guys in about 8 months ago. I had an out. And I'm now talking to 3 distilleries for the same recipe. I own the name and the recipe, and I'm going to come out with something else through somebody else and run it my way but I love Legends for giving me the opportunity. They were great, but it wasn't the right business formula for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll do a tasting when that happens.
So it's coming sooner than you think, but there's about 90 cases at Atlanta Beverage. So if you own a bar or a restaurant, order some Yeah Come On. It will be your best 80 proof.
All right. Final question. This chapter of life, in one word, how would you describe it for you?
Invigorating.
Cheers to invigorating.
I don't even use that word hardly.
You're bringing out the big words for me. I love those.
I have it at the source. I do. I have it at the source. But I'm like, okay, big word for Shyann.
Or ChatGPT, though.
Or ChatGPT. I just want to say to you, thank you for having me on your show. I want to tell you that I know where you've been, and I know that you took your time to think about this. And, everybody loves you. You're sweet. And the fact that I'm looking around at all the little things, as a guy that's on 3 podcasts, and I just want to say, follow the Yeah Come On show. It's 4 hours of radio and 30 minutes unedited. It's the new thing I'm doing.
Okay.
Red, white, and green. People that love America. It's not about politics. It's not about left or right. It's like, do you love this country and do you love money? Red, white, and green with Ted Jenkins, who you know. And then I've got something with a sports guy that's going to come out on Rumble, and that's a teaser in February. But I'm learning to reinvent myself right now while terrestrial radio is taking a break on Southside Steve. But I did do a show on WSB 2 weeks ago, and they want to talk.
All right, let's do it.
Shyann got that. I didn't give that to anybody but you.
I got the exclusive.
You got the exclusive.
Cheers. All right, I'm excited. I'm following you. You're amazing. It's evolving, but everything is, right?
But I just want to say how good you are, what a great broadcaster you are. And I lost several friends of mine, including you and Susan Hendricks, when HLN closed down. And I'm just going to tell you the big mistake. I know I'm going over time. I'm sorry, but I love her. But the biggest mistake they made is you've got Fox, you got CNN, you got left and right. Headline news was in the middle, and we got news. I didn't know how any one of you voted. And you were...
That's the goal, right?
That's the goal. And you did the news, and you had your own show, and then they yanked it. And that was a show I could get on. So I got upset. But the fact that you've taken your time and you're doing what I'm doing, pivoting, but it's not about, a lot of people are doing podcasts, but not everybody does it the right way. You got to have a niche. And this is a niche. This is a niche. So to Shyann.
Champagne with Shyann. Cheers.